Hello everybody and welcome back to this week's Wednesday Q&A. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you for all of your support recently. We've just launched our hats again and we've just launched brand new stickers in 12 different colours. And it's gone crazy. We've had orders from all over the country for both the hats and the stickers. So thank you very much. Also, your support on Patreon as well. It's been so good. We've actually introduced a few more tiers and levels there, which will get you things like discounts at our store and different advantages as well. So if you do fancy supporting us over on Patreon, please head to the link down below and you can see the different tiers of support that you can give us at the Combe Campers YouTube channel. So let's crack straight on with this week's questions. Thank you to everybody who sent questions via Patreon. If you do ask a question on Patreon, it's guaranteed to get asked. On Insta and on Facebook as well. The one question we were sent via Facebook, I won't be answering purely because somebody from Patreon has already asked exactly the same question. So let's get straight on with it. First of all, we have Will. He says, hello, loving all the videos, have been really helpful. Mine is a very simple question, so may not be video worthy. I'm about to insulate the rear floor of my T6 short wheelbase. I'm planning on using the Dodomac Duo product. Will one roll have enough coverage for the rear or will I need two? So it's a T6 short wheelbase. We would recommend the twin pack of the Dodomac Duo. Actually, we've covered all of this in the latest blog at combevalleycampers.co.uk, and we go through short wheelbase, long wheelbase and caddy van quantities of sound deadening and insulation. So thank you very much to Dan for sorting that out for us. All the detail is, again, down in the link below. We'll leave a link for that blog there. Matthew Davey, hello Matthew, thanks again for another question. Hi Leigh, I'm designing my rear U-lounge. I'm wondering how to fix the benches to the walls. Same with the fridge hob unit behind the driver's seat. My panels are carpeted 4mm ply. I'll send a pic of my design through Insta. Many thanks as always for all the tips and videos. So Matthew did send us he sent us a lovely video actually of the 3D CAD drawing he'd done of his interior. He's actually designing the whole thing himself. First of all, Matthew, on that long side or even all the sides where you're attaching your interior, we would recommend a slightly thicker ply. So if you're attaching anything to the walls, I would recommend a minimum of 6mm ply to start attaching things to. However, if you're still able to remove those panels, and if I remember rightly, you carpeted your panels separately to the van, so you should be able to remove those panels. What I would do is offer up your interior to all the places where it's going to be in the van, mark those points where you want to fix it to the walls, then because your ply is so thin, I would brace behind those panels with, say, a 6mm ply, almost sort of anchor plate behind that ply panel. So when you're screwing the interior into that ply board for permanent fixing, you're actually screwing into a thicker material at the same time as well. So that should keep it nice and secure. Apart from that, make sure you get lots of good anchor plates in the floor also, but I think you've done a cracking job so far. We've been sharing some of Matthew's pictures on our Instagram feed, and yeah, he's done a really, really good job, and he's followed all our videos, so good job, man. Next question is Rory. Hi Leigh, thank you for the reply to my ambulance question. I've been enjoying watching Project Amber. Again, that's another YouTube channel we really enjoy, Project Amber. Again, link down below. The guys there have got fantastic vans and they're traveling all around the country. In his camper, he has a shower and I'm interested in doing the same. However, he doesn't go into great detail on the install. I was wondering if you're going to be making any videos on installing showers in campers. Kind regards, Rory. We have fitted showers to vans before. We've actually fitted showers on sort of flexible hoses that you can pull out the back of the van and say wash down your wetsuits or wash down your mountain bike. And we use a lot of different systems. We don't have a plan as yet to go deep into the description of fitting a shower. However, if you want us to do it in the future, Rory, and you want us to film doing it to your van, let us know and we might be able to arrange something. Next question, Flo Flowers. Hello, Leigh. We've all loved your lining videos, but what's your recommendation for lining the metalwork when having detachable panels? Do you cover all the framework and then somehow locate the clips, or do you only carpet up to a certain point on the frame? A bit of both there. So we will carpet the whole side of the van like you've seen in our previous videos, and then we will cut out the apertures as to where your ply panels will then fit on top of that. Yes, we will locate the holes, or we'll do a lot of preparation in that if we're screwing the panels to the van rather than using the trim clips, in fact we cover this in our ply paneling video. We will measure all around the metalwork before we've laid any carpet. We'll measure all around the metalwork as to where our fixings are or our screws are going in. So it's all about preparation really, to find the holes where you've fixed. Make sure you do some measurements, maybe even take some photos of where your screw holes are, but you basically want to give yourself references, and we do go through all of that with our ply paneling video, again linked down in the description. Leigh Smurthwaite, hi Leigh, do you have any suggestions for solar panels on a T5 high top? Both the best power rating and configuration and how best to fit. We'll be fitting a Fiamma 40 turbo vent in a VW factory roof, so is 2 thin solar panels the best option? Loving all the videos and Patreon features, thanks. Leigh, I'm going to take that as 2 questions. So first part, solar panels, both the best power rating and configuration and how best to fit. That is a question that is completely based on your circumstances really. What equipment or utilities do you have in your van? How long do you plan to stay in the van? Is this going to be a semi-permanent van that you're going to live in, or is this just for weekend trips? Do you just want to keep your battery topped up, or do you want to use them constantly? So you've got a big battery bank and you want to use the solar to constantly top up those batteries the whole time. We have been in talks with James over at Rain Automotive, and he's currently in the process of developing a voltage and current usage calculator. So basically it will be a user-friendly database, so to speak, where you fill in all of your requirements in terms of power usage, and then at the end you will be given a recommended battery size, solar panel size, etc, etc. So again, I will publish the link to that as and when it's fully published, but it would be unfair for me to make comment on your what exactly you require, because I don't know the usage or what you're going to be using your batteries and utilities for. In terms of fixing, again, that's entirely dependent on what solar panels you go for. So if you've gone for a solid frame solar panel, a more mechanical fixing into the roof is recommended. If it's more of a flexible, thin solar panel, I would look at a polyurethane bond such as a Tiger Seal or Sikaflex or something like that. Second part of that question is thin solar panels the best option? Again, whatever configuration you find is best, and it will be a lot more research on your side, I'm afraid. So whenever you've got your desired vent in the roof, it's going to be best to measure the space you've got at the rear of the roof and on the front, coming up with the best solution. So unfortunately, it's going to be a bit more research on your part. I'd love to have the answer for you, sort of like that, but again, without knowing those basic requirements, I'm not entirely sure. But best of luck, and once you've got them fitted, let us know. I'd love to see what solutions you've come up with. Next question, Fred Lambrechts. Sorry if I didn't say your name right. But Fred, he says, hello, I am building a camping trailer and I will only be running LED exterior and interior lights and a couple of 12-volt sockets / USB for charging phones. I want to put 2 110 amp batteries in the nose cone of the trailer, I'm guessing, which will be charged by 2 solar panels. Which is the best affordable batteries to go for? Which would be the best in terms of what output panels do I need for the 2 batteries? Again, I will forward you over to the Rain Automotive voltage calculator or usage calculator when it goes live. But I would say potentially that 210 power batteries for just some USB lights and some sockets might be a little bit of overkill, really. If you were running a fridge in there, one of the newer 12 volt compressor fridges, just as an example, a 12 volt compressor fridge on a good 110 amp battery will actually keep going for about 3 or 4 days. So to run just to run some LEDs and some USB sockets for charging phones, I would consider maybe even reducing that down to 110 amp hour batteries, because you might feel it might be an expenditure that you don't need if you're not going to be using all of that available power. In terms of charging them, I would consider also maybe using a caravan charging system. So when you plug, when you're towing a trailer, you've got 2 plugs near your towing hitch at the back of the car. You've got one plug that's for the rear lights and the towing lights, and the second plug is for the split charge system that charges the batteries in your trailer. I would potentially consider one of those. So when you're on the move, you've got the vehicle battery charging the batteries in your trailer. And then when you get onto site, you've got the solar panels charging the batteries once the car's been unhitched. So yeah, consider the split charge system through a second tow hitch socket as well. But thanks again for your question. Last, how many have we got here? No, last 2 from Patreon. Christine Watkins says, hi, thanks again for doing this. I saw one video, somebody taking off all the exterior trim, cleaning up and then using silicone on all the little plugs to seal the fixing holes. Do you think this is essential? I guess it wouldn't harm, but it's very time consuming. Exterior trim, cleaning up, silicone. I'm wondering if you're talking about maybe the likes of a Vivaro. I need a little bit more detail there, Christine, to be honest. I know the likes of Vauxhall Vivaros, they can get water ingress on their side trim. So water can run down, go through the trim holes at the bottom of the van and then leak into the van. So I would steer clear of silicone potentially and maybe look towards a polyurethane flexible sealant for the plugs, because not only would that hold the plugs in to that trim, but it would be waterproof. But for a comprehensive answer, Christine, I'm going to need a few more details, please. Last question on Patreon then from James Halston. Hello, great work and loving the videos. Do you have any recommendations for an effective all-in-one solution for running 12 volt via split charge, 240 volt hookup and solar panel with automatic power switching? Now, I've not dealt with that system a lot. However, oh, and by the way, this is the question that was similar to the one asked on Facebook. I don't deal with these large comprehensive systems a lot. However, if you head over to the justscape.com YouTube channel, our friends over there, Gary and Tina, they have just built an Overlander type truck, and they have used a really comprehensive Victron system for charging their batteries. And they use, as far as I remember, they use the Victron Easy Solar system as part of their whole electric system, and that has the MPPT solar charge and the inverter charger and AC distribution all in one unit. I think that's what you're going on about. So head over to the guys at Just Escape. I'm sure Gary and Tina over there have done a very comprehensive video on their requirements and the build of all their electrics. So yes, I'll leave a link down below. And I hope that helps, James. Last question then from Instagram. I didn't even check who it was from. My apologies. Let me just check this very quickly. Gosh, I've set myself up now, haven't I? So, Rich from @Rich_Eli. He says, what got you into converting vans? Same reason as most of you kind of watch my channel, I guess. I wanted a camper van, but I couldn't afford a professional to do it for me. Nor could I afford a fully built camper van at the time. So I learned via the books available, and I learned via reading message boards and forums how to best convert my van at the time. So the van bully. He's a T3. You would have seen him on the channel as well. It's one of the first vans I built, and I used books and message boards and forums because I wanted to convert my own van for cheaper than it would have cost. And that's kind of what got me into it. I really enjoyed the process. And so it's kind of gone full circle now, and now I'm helping you guys out. I'm giving back. I've learned everything I have through converting them myself or working for other companies, and doing this for a few years now. So now I feel it's time that I can sort of give back to you guys, and do the channel. So yeah, so what got me into converting vans? Not being able to afford my own. So yeah, learned how to do it, got the parts and pieces cheap, and because I had more spare time back then, I could do it myself. And that's about it for today. Hope that's helped everybody. Thanks again for asking the questions, and I hope I've given you some information to move on to the next stage with your build. And don't forget, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to the channel if this has been of any value to you, and if you want to support us, please head over to patreon.com/Combe Valley Campers, where you can help us out. And if you've converted your van using some of our videos, throw a sticker on it. We've got them for sale on the website now as well. So thank you very much, and with a bit of luck, we'll see you next Wednesday. Boom!